Good morning. I trust all of you had a great weekend. If you were like most of us around the city, you were either celebrating Cinco de Mayo, having some good Mexican food, or going to Cincy Cinco, or participating in the Pig Marathon and all the events leading up to that activity. I concluded my weekend by participating in the Splash Awards. This is the award ceremony to recognize some of our swimmers who participate in our many swim team events. So, congratulations to them. And I don't know about you, but I'm excited that summer feels like it's finally sticking around. This morning we have the IT department doing a presentation on cybersecurity, so I'll turn it over to them.
Good morning, and welcome to the Monday Morning Huddle. Today will be an IT briefing, and we'll be discussing information security. But first, let me introduce myself. I'm Wes Kurlak, and I've been hired to serve as IT Director here for the Y of Cincinnati. Formerly, I served as Information Security Engineer for the Western and Southern Financial Group. I'm certified in IT security with 2 globally recognized certifications in computer security and forensics, and also information security management. Outside of work, I love barbecue and smoking meat. Also, by the time you'll be watching this recording, I will have just run my first half marathon. If I don't show up to work today, you'll know I didn't make it to the end of the race. I also have just celebrated my first wedding anniversary, so sorry to break the bad news to everyone, but I'm taken. In order for the Y to provide services to our areas of focus, childhood development, healthy living, and social responsibility, we need to protect our systems and data. Our guests trust us with their personal data, their credit card data, and sometimes even their health data. Keeping that data safe is everyone's job. Without information security, we will not accomplish our mission. Today we are going to discuss how information security is everyone's job by reviewing common questions we all have about information security. What are our biggest threats here at the Y? Our biggest threats are theft of credit card data and loss of data and systems due to ransomware. These are the 2 ways our organization is most vulnerable to attack. Are we actually a target? Credit cards and unprotected systems are always a target. In speaking with a few people from around the business, there is the perception that the Y is too small to be a target for cybercriminals. This is not true. Many of the different forms of attacks out there are automated. Computers attacking companies and groups at random. They don't worry about who's small and who's big. Large nets are cast over the entire industry to see what shakes loose. What is ransomware? Ransomware is software that locks your computer and makes you pay before you can get to your files. It could shut down your computer, it could shut down a branch, or even every branch if the malware is bad enough. This happens at small nonprofits like hospitals all of the time. Last year, 16 NHS organizations across England, including several groups of hospitals like East and North Hertfordshire, had their files scrambled by a variant of the WannaCry ransomware. The way IT networks work, that could have all happened from a single email. Ransomware is a global problem that every business has to deal with. Here at the Y, we need to do our part by being vigilant of IT threats. What is the most likely way that we will get attacked? The biggest risk to the Y is phishing emails. We are, by nature, an organization of very helpful and friendly people, but we need to think very carefully about answering emails that ask for personal information, financial information, passwords, or ask us to open files. Be aware of emails with attached office documents from people you don't know. Very short emails with an attachment asking you to open it. Emails with links to a site that asks you to sign in. Consider this example webpage. I have encountered dozens of these scams in my time as a security professional. You'll get an email with a link. When you click on the link, you will be taken to a page that looks like this. It will ask you to select an account and then sign in. The attack is trying to get you to enter your username and password so they can steal your information. Sometimes these emails are very convincing and will use logos from legitimate websites to lull you into a false sense of security, so you must stay vigilant. What should I do if an email looks suspicious? Forward the email to help desk. Someone in IT will examine it and let you know if it's safe to open or not. IT is here to help, and this is never, ever an inconvenience to us. Will I get in trouble if I report that my computer gets a virus? No, but we need to know about it immediately. If your computer gets malware, take these steps. 1. Call IT immediately. 2. Unplug the network cable from the computer, but leave the computer on. If you're using a laptop, also remember to turn off Wi-Fi. The idea here is we want to keep the computer from talking to other computers on the network to make sure it doesn't infect any of the other computers. Finally, do not pay a ransom for any reason, even if you are given a time limit. Thanks to your diligence thus far, the Y has never had a major data breach. Let's keep that trend going into 2018. And remember, IT security is everyone's job. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you. Always a good reminder to be vigilant when we're online and when we are opening our email. Over the weekend, I've been thinking a lot about relationships and our connections. And maybe I was thinking about this because of all the festivities and activities that were going on across the city. And so there were a lot of people hanging out, friends, families, neighbors, encouraging each other on a run or just having a great time in their community. This is surprising because I also came across a study that seems to be telling a very different story. A nationwide survey by Cigna, one of the insurance companies, reported that 54% of Americans report that they feel alone or always left out. Now, this is unfortunate because that same study says that people who are lonely or isolated are more likely to get sick. They have this kind of chronic ache that often leads to illnesses and other mental health issues. And in fact, some researchers believe it really influences the entire well-being of the person. Now, the health consequences include symptoms that appear to be physical or even mental illness. And so there are some significant implications there about the loneliness. Now, the loneliest group are members of Generation Z, individuals born from the mid-1990s to the early 2000s. And that's no surprise given the amount of technology that supposedly enhances their relationship. But we know from study after study that you can't replace human contact, human engagement. So texting is not the same as looking into somebody's eyes and actually having a conversation with them. And that's one of the reasons the YMCA focuses in on achievement to belonging and relationships, belonging and relationships being critical to that experience. Now, Jesus models this idea of relationships not just because he had a lot of friends, but because he constantly invited people on the fringes. He said yes to fishermen, and he said yes to individuals that were deemed as evil, like tax collectors, and individuals that had foul mouths, individuals along the fringes, kids, people that were sick. He constantly said, you belong. You are part of who I am. And I think as we think about what the YMCA does, this is why those relationships are so critical. Because we want to say also yes to the many people that perhaps are along the fringes. And I think this is what John meant when he wrote that this is the best way to love somebody, that you put your life on the line for your friends. So friendship is about putting my life on the lines for others, so that the individual doesn't feel lonely. The individual does not feel like something does not have their best interests in mind. So this week, as we engage with our friends, families, and our coworkers, let's look for ways to build into them, to build these relationships that John spoke about when he said, the way you love somebody is to put your life on the line for them. Now, putting your life on the line doesn't mean what you and I might think. This is not about trying to die for somebody, although sometimes that's called for. But it's really about trying to put the value of my life in service to a fellow man. And that's one of the reasons he writes this. Look, if you're going to be a friend, you need to be able to give up of your life for your friends. And I think in the context of that, we discover why relationships are so critical. This week, if you are one of the individuals that is profoundly lonely, look for ways to connect with people here at work. And then I can't challenge you enough to pick up the phone and maybe connect with your family. Also, when we connect this week with our friends across the association, maybe it's time for us to get in our cars and go have a face-to-face conversation. So don't just invite them to a phone call. Think about ways to be there as well. Let me pray for us. God, thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to be part of something bigger than ourselves, for the opportunity to be champions for connections and relationships as we battle loneliness in the lives of others. Thank you for leaning into us as we lean on each other. Please give us wisdom to find moments of transformation through those relationships. Thank you for those individuals that are serving here in Southern Ohio, Northern Kentucky, around the country, and around the world in this organization we call the YMCA. Thanks, everybody.